I'm here on the Chesapeake Bay in Annapolis, Maryland for the 25th annual Great Chesapeake Bay Swim. It's one of the top 10 open water swims on the planet due to the caliber of competition.
Yeah, he's been doing it for 10 years.
I've done other triathlon swims and things like that, Ironman swims.
I won it 2 years ago and 3 years ago.
And the degree of difficulty.
There's definitely a current out there.
If the tide starts going out, people will start getting pushed south.
If they're going against the current under the bridge, it's going to be a nightmare.
The grueling coast-to-coast course starts on the sand in mainland Maryland and ends on an island 4.4 miles to the east. And to get there, these aquatic athletes will have to swim under the Chesapeake Bay Bridge while battling the bay's notorious currents. Currents that are even more intense right here, where the race is held.
Wherever you have a narrowing of a waterway, the current is always going to increase.
It's called the hourglass effect, and it makes currents here stronger than anywhere else on the bay.
The current will be slower where it's wider, and where it is an hourglass, where it does get an hour, the current can go faster.
The currents are so dangerously quick, they could sweep swimmers south at speeds of over 2 knots. That's almost 3.5 feet per second. And today, those aren't the only challenges these racers will face. About 650 swimmers will start the race today, but not all of them will finish, because this swim is no day at the beach. Winds were whipping at over 20 miles per hour when the race began, and they seem to be gaining speed by the second. The athletes may not be able to feel the wind while they swim, but they'll certainly feel the wind's effects.
The wind obviously has picked up, and in turn, the wave height has picked up.
And rough rapids can make it hard for the swimmers to see and to breathe.
The waves were huge. I couldn't see the buoys at all. The waves were sort of going every direction, so it was hard to take a breath without swallowing a lot of water.
The wind's clearly making the Chesapeake chop, but with all the swimmers still out at sea, it's anyone's guess just how much the weather's affecting the competitors.
I just think today you're not going to be able to hug the shoulder. It's too scary.
Sarah Franklin's husband is competing today. This will be his 10th time crossing the bay.
This is the part where I get nervous. Like, just come in, just come in.
And in those 10 years, she says winds have never been this strong.
Every other year we've been super lucky. Never had a rainy day. It's been pretty amazing.
And she worries how her husband will do.
I would never be worried that he couldn't finish, but is he going to finish the way he wants to finish? I don't know.
But some spectators are hopeful that the way the wind's blowing will give the swimmers a helping hand.
It is a little windy for the racers, but the direction of the wind actually may help them out because it should be off their backs.
But there is one thing that everyone can agree on.
It's definitely rough out there, and the people that do make it today will be good athletes. There's no doubt about it.
Winds are now blowing at nearly tropical depression speeds, with gusts up to 37 miles per hour. Waves, now nearly 1.5 feet high, are slapping swimmers every 2 seconds.
The conditions are rough. I mean, it's rocking and rolling.
The swim typically takes about 2.5 hours to complete, but today, conditions are so extreme that swimmers are struggling after only an hour.
We've pulled out about 15 swimmers out of 650, maybe a few more by now.
Well, the wind's picking up, but so is the race. Let's go meet him at the finish line.
25th edition of the Great Chesapeake Bay Swim. 25 years of great swimmers, great athletes, lots of fun and excitement. Let's hear it, everybody!
Matt McKissick's the first to cross the line.
Good job, good job, good job. What a skill.
And he did it in record time.
How was the wind out there? Pretty terrible. Wind was choppy, waves were choppy, but you just got to learn how to ride them, I guess.
By working with the weather, McKissick blew through the bay faster than anyone, ever.
The wind coming out of the west-northwest is ideal for the swimmers, and I think has resulted in a record course time simply because it's pushing the swimmers to the east.
The previous record, set in 2002, was 1 hour, 25 minutes, and 7 seconds. Today, McKissick conquered the course in an incredible 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 15 seconds, crushing the long-reigning record by a remarkable 52 seconds, and setting a new standard for the swim.
We don't count wind assist or not, so it's just the time.
And McKissick's time?
Really fast.
from a windy Annapolis, Maryland, I'm